Yo. What up, Facebook? Hey, guys, you got Darren Little here from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And we're live right now. We're live. It's 12:07, 12:08 Pacific Standard Time here in Vancouver. And I wanted to just hop online here real quick. And well, I always say real quick and end up talking for about like 30 minutes or something, right? Sometimes longer. But, my intention is to, just take a little bit of time here, give you a little bit of value so that if you plugged in today, that you're going to leave with something, either a mindset shift or a different way to think about things or do things, or maybe you're going to have an aha moment today, right? So first of all, welcome to this broadcast. If you're just tuning in for the first time, if you've never seen me before on the internet, maybe just introduce yourself and say, hey, Darren, how's it going? I'm from, Ottawa. I'm from, Manila, right? Wherever you're from. I'm from India. So give me an idea. Where are you tuning in from? There's normally on this new software right above here, there's a link that you click, and then that will allow your comment to come right up on here, and I can help to edify you for showing up here today. So tell me who we got. Who do we got? Who's tuning in? Who do we got here, guys? Who do we got? I want to showcase somebody. Who's it going to be? Okay, who do we got? We got Twila Morgan Montague. Great to see you here. Thanks a lot for tuning in on today's broadcast. Guys, I always say to people, she's from Philadelphia. Awesome. I always say this one thing to people, okay? 80%, okay, literally 80% of your success in anything is just going to be showing up. Just showing up. That's 80%. You're already 8/10 of the way there to your destination just by showing up, right? Just by being here right now. Okay. So standing ovation. Okay. Especially to Twila, because she took action and there she is right on the screen. If you don't know Twila, maybe you want to connect with her because she's an action taker. How do I know? There she is right there on the screen. Okay. So keep this in mind, guys. A lot of these concepts and a lot of these ideas, they're actually pretty darn simple if you just kind of, break it down and you use common sense a lot of times, right? So, but there's one real thing, okay? One thing that's going to determine your wealth, right? And how it starts to show up on how efficient, okay, how efficient that you get at one thing, okay? How efficient that you get at one single thing, okay? And that thing, guys, is as the CEO of your business, okay? And that's what we are when we all start a entrepreneur. We bridge over into becoming an entrepreneur. So we're in the 9-to-5 world and we want to bridge over into the entrepreneur world. And there's some good things about it and there's some bad things about it, quite frankly. I'll be honest, guys, okay? Typically when you're working in a 9-to-5 type of environment, you are basically given either a job description and you're given specific tasks to do, and then you're going to report to like your sales manager or the vice president, or you're going to report back to the CEO. So there's some sort of an accountability process in the 9-to-5 world, right? Hey, Leonard, how you doing, brother? From Ireland, right? Great to see you here. So the thing about being in the 9-to-5 world for the masses, okay, for the mass market, is that you actually have, like, you kind of know what you need to do, and you know what your action steps need to be throughout the day. And then there's an accountability that you report to somebody that gets the job done. And in the event that the accountability is not there, then there's a high probability that they're going to pull you into the office, right? To have a little bit of a talk and say, time to pick up the bootstraps. So a lot of people, when they're in that 9-to-5 zone, they actually hate having a boss. They hate the whole concept of reporting to somebody. And so they envision this freedom lifestyle, right? Where they can work from wherever they want. They don't have to set an alarm clock. They can get up and do whatever they have to do. Okay. But the challenge with it is there is no boss. There's no boss. You are the boss. So now you're both the CEO, you're the sales manager, and you're the sales rep. And the only person that you can report to is you, because you're the boss, you're the CEO, right? And people think about it in concept, right? In their mind, they think like, oh, wow, I wish I didn't have to wake up to the alarm clock. I wish I didn't have to be caught in traffic. I wish I could spend more time with my family and my kids and my loved ones, right? And then all of a sudden, when they make the jump and they realize that, number one, there's nobody to report to because you're the CEO now, okay? So you got to actually know what to do in your day to make it productive, okay? But the biggest challenge by far that, in my opinion, is going to help you is how efficient, okay? How efficient can you be at solving problems? At solving problems, okay? Because that's what the CEO does. Now, the interesting thing about this, guys, it's because when I tell you this, you'd just be going like, oh my God, this is just like such basic concepts. Like, yes, they are. They're very, very basic, right? Like a 5-year-old kid could hear what I'm saying and understand that it's actually very, very easy. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that if you have one of these, okay, if you have one of these, okay, which is a smartphone, and it's, I don't know what the service is or whatever, if you've got like a Samsung or whatever. I'm just talking about an iPhone. Okay, this is an iPhone, and there's a little button that's right here. Okay, right here, right there. Okay, and if I press it, if I press the button, I can ask any question I want. Okay, any question, and I'm going to get an answer. Okay, about anything, guys. Okay, so a lot of times you'll see, as an example, that a leader is putting out a training, or they're doing a broadcast or a launch event or an interview or something of value, and they'll post it into the group. Now, keep in mind, when you're dealing with the internet, you're dealing on a global scale. So you might be in Pacific time, and you got somebody in Central time, and you got some people in Eastern time, and you got some people in Hong Kong, and some people in Japan, and some people in Manila, right? They're all over the world, okay? Now, it's up to you as the CEO of your business to take charge. Take charge, right? Somebody's on the lake right now. Somebody's on the lake right now, okay? So it's up to you as the CEO to take charge of your business, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys this so that you'll be going like, oh my God, I've had this thing on my phone all this time, and I've never even used it, okay? I've never even used it, okay? So here's an example, okay? So let's say that right now there's somebody in Manila. Well, Ari's in Manila. My business partner, Ari, is in Manila. Him and his wife live in Manila, and they just had a little baby, right? And if you haven't seen pictures of her, she's like super, super cute. Just an adorable little girl. They got some really cool pictures of her. You can check that out on Ari's wall. But here's an example, okay? So watch this. What time is it in Manila?
It's 3:17 a.m. in Manila, the Philippines.
There we go, right? Okay, so whatever it is that your problem is that you're dealing with. Now, it would shock you at how many people in a group, right? So you got a group where you've got a community, and you post inside the group that there's going to be a training on at a specific time, okay? It will blow you away, guys. Okay, blow you away. How many people will say, Well, what time's that in Australia? Well, what time's that in Hong Kong? What time's that in Japan, right? And what they're actually doing is they're giving up their personal power and they're staying in a state of victimhood. And you'll never make it. You'll never make it in our industry as an entrepreneur playing the victim. It won't work, guys. Okay. You got to be the CEO of your business, the CEO. The CEO is the problem solver. The CEO goes and figures it out, right? But this little tool, that little button right there, can, quite frankly, it can solve the majority of your questions, problems, anything. Okay. So watch this. One button. Okay. How do you generate leads online?
I found this on the web.
10 ways to generate sales leads if you don't have marketing experience. What do we got here? Lead generation, a beginner's guide to generating business leads. 20 smart ways to generate more leads. Okay, let's see what we got here. How do you use Instagram to make sales?
I found this on the web.
How to use Instagram to promote your brand and drive sales. 13 of the easiest ways to increase sales on Instagram right now. How to sell on Instagram, 9 tips. This isn't rocket science, guys. Seriously, right? If you ever want to be a successful entrepreneur, okay, you can't be pointing the fingers at your sponsor like, oh, it's their fault that you missed the training, when all you had to do is press a button and step into your power and take action and stop pointing fingers and blaming other people that, oh, well, okay, well, you should have told me it was at that time. Well, how about you just take ownership of your business and press a button? You see what I'm saying? So the one thing that I'm going to share with you is this, and it doesn't matter if you've got a ClickFunnels software or you've got a Weber or you want to learn a new skill, whether it's Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, blogging, SEO, right? Facebook, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Okay. Whatever the thing is, you say, well, you know what, Darren? I love Instagram. Like, Instagram is my thing. Okay. And I go, well, then why don't you just use Instagram? Oh, I don't know how to use Instagram. Right? That's the victim, right? And you will never make it as that person. I'm just straight up. This is why I tell people that our industry is really a personal development industry. It's really a leadership business model. And if you want to ever make it, right, you got to stop waiting for a white knight, the white knight that's going to come and save the day. Okay. Because what I'm going to tell you is, if you ever want to be a successful entrepreneur, okay, when I say successful entrepreneur, I'm talking about making 7 figures, multiple 7 figures, 8 figures and higher, right? And in the event that you want that to be you, right, then you can't be in the first level of the game, which is the powerless one, the victim, right? So, there's always an excuse. There's always an excuse, right? It was the thing. It was the kids. It was the traffic. It was the oh, my back hurt. I was too tired. But there's always going to be an excuse, okay? And the truth is that once you become the CEO and the sales manager and the sales rep, you got to start to, put on a different hat for each one of the positions and ask yourself, are you even in business? Are you even in business? Okay. Because the only businesses that will run effectively and efficiently are businesses that are run by a CEO, the chief executive officer. That's the person that runs the company. That's the person that steers the ship. So in the event that you're waiting You're way, well, you know, I don't, oh, I don't know how to use ClickFunnels, Darren. Right. This is factual stuff, guys. Okay. So how about this, right? Why not go to YouTube? Yeah, YouTube. You mean that there's probably a tutorial video there? Really? Yeah. Yes, there is. Right? But only the person that's the CEO would just go directly and solve the problem. You see the difference? So you got to ask yourself, which zone are you in? Like, in order to actually be an entrepreneur, okay, Darren, I'm going to leave the 9 to 5. I'm walking away from my 9 to 5. Okay, cool. Then you got to be a CEO. There's no halfway. There's no halfway. And you're an employee over here. You do the 9 to 5, and you decide that you want to get over here and you want to run a business. Then you got to be the CEO. There's no halfway, guys. You can't like put your toe kind of in the water. It doesn't work that way. You're either in or you're out. You either jump and you either dive in the water and you now become the problem solver, or you say that's just not for me and you stay on the path and you get the directions from your boss and you have the accountability to your boss, and then you got to set your alarm clock and you got to fight through traffic and you got to put up with the bullshit and the drama and everything else that goes on at work. In the event that you say, oh no, I'm out. I reached my breaking point there. I want to go for it. I want freedom. I want to go for my dream. Okay, no problem. You're going to have to be a CEO. And there's no gray area here, guys. It's not kind of like semi in or semi out. It's not like a little bit black or a little bit gray. It's either black or it's white, right? It's one of the two. You're either all in or you're not in. So you can't be a pretend CEO. Okay? You can't be a pretend CEO. There is no such thing. Hey, Stephen, how are you, brother? Great to see you. Thanks a lot for popping in today. So what I want to put out to you is this. A lot of the stuff that comes up in the day-to-day, right, with what we do, there's only a couple of skills that you really need to even learn, right? So you got to look pro, obviously, but you've got to know how to either write a story, right, that's going to do this with your prospect, and, right, tell a story on video. That's it. 2 things. Okay, so, the skills are where people go into like overwhelm is they never actually learn all the basic foundational principles about how our industry is completely different than the corporate America business model. So the business model that everybody knows over here in corporate America is completely different than the business model over here in running a successful home-based business. This business model is booking appointments, pitching, and dealing with the objections. And this business model is a teaching and training business model. They're not even remotely similar in any way. They're not similar. They're two. It's like the apples and the oranges. They're both fruit, but they're two totally separate zones. Is the apple going to taste like the orange? No, it's not. It's not going to taste. They're not going to taste anything like one another. They're going to be completely, totally different. So you got to keep this in mind if you ever want to, set your intention and then set a strategy and then follow somebody's strategy. This is why mentorship, in my opinion, is so important, because it completely takes out all the guesswork. Right? There's no guesswork. Oh, I'm gonna go try that. Okay, we'll try that. But are you guessing, or are you actually following a strategy that's tried, tested, proven strategy that already has results? It already has a paint by numbers formula in order for you to be able to implement it. And you can track the data all the way along to see if it's working or it's not working. Right? So if you start to break things down like this, things will be a lot easier for you to be able to accomplish stuff, to hit whatever your target is. You might say, Darren, I want to make $10,000 this month. Awesome. Okay. What's the strategy? Which one are you going to pick? And whose results are you going to follow to know exactly what to implement in order to roll it out? Right? There's no big guesswork around that, guys. This is the thing. But because people don't break it down into the simple terms, it seems like oh my God, the internet. There's all these buttons and all this stuff and so many different rabbit holes to go down. So what do they end up doing? Nothing. And their business just is in a little spinner. It's in a spinner. And it never actually gets into any type of traction, right? Because they never moved from employee and jumped over to here to CEO of their business. And that, my friends, is what's going to make you rich, is becoming the CEO, being the problem solver. How fast, how efficient are you at solving problems on a daily basis? Because besides the business situation, besides whatever's going on in your business as far as lead generation, closing, upselling, team duplication, leadership, besides all that, you also are going to have just the regular day-to-day stuff, right? Now, are there going to be problems that you're going to run into in the household environment, whether it's the hot water tank just blew, or you got a leaky roof, or you've got kids and both the kids are now sick at home with the flu, or maybe you and your spouse are not, you've lost communication, or you've fallen out of love with each other. So now you're just kind of moving ships in the night, and there's no passion. There's no passion in your relationship. So my question to you is, with the exact same concept of your business over here, bridge it back over into your home life now. How effective and efficient are you at solving basic problems, whatever the problems are, right? And this is the big void zone. And a lot of times it's because people just don't want to take charge of the situation. They don't want to just take charge. So in other words, if the relationship, as an example, is not going good, then, well, what would have to happen for it to be going good, right? So you say, as an example, well, Darren, I've been in this marriage and I just don't feel in love, right? So I go, well, what does it feel like to be in love, right? What do you need to receive from your spouse in order to feel loved? Do you see what I mean? And when you break it down into these type of simple terms, then you can go find a solution to the problem. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is, okay? Whether it's one of your kids is having problems in school, or there's a bully at school, or there was a car accident in the house. One of the cars gets towed. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what the problem is. But in order to be the most efficient, you've got to be the CEO. Okay, and that's the bridge over into the world of being an entrepreneur. Okay, is how fast can you solve the problem, or is your self-talk and your emotional state gonna take you out of the game? Okay, because a lot of people, they'll waste a big part of the day thinking about, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? Well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What about this? What about that? So they're not actually even productive. So the amount of work that they even get done during the day is almost nothing, because they're caught in here, and their emotional state has taken them out of their personal power. So they end up not doing anything at all. Right? You may have had something like that happen even for you, right? So you either know the action steps to take, or it's completely blank. So there's a veil that's over on how to run a successful business, because you don't have a blueprint and there's no mentor that you're following on whatever the strategy is that you're going to implement. Okay. So, but you can't do it in this zone, the first zone, which is the victim state, the powerless one. You'll never be able to get a business off the ground until you finally jump and you're going to take charge now as the CEO to be able to solve whatever the problem is, right? So I put my phone down right when you went live. Oh, well, better late than never. Yeah, you can always watch the replay there, Justin. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate you. So, guys, what I'm going to tell you is this, okay, in closing. In the event that you're serious and you say, Darren, I want to be a successful entrepreneur. I really do want to leave my job. I really do want to live the life of freedom. And I'm ready to be a CEO. A CEO. The CEO is the one that's in their personal power, guys. The CEO is the one that's prepared to take charge and take responsibility, okay? Now, in order for that process to start, what actually has to happen is that you have to get the knowledge. You have to get the knowledge. Facebook user says, so true, a confused mind never takes action. Have to become the CEO, take charge, and solve whatever the problem comes about. Standing ovation right there. That right there, guys, is the truth. That is the truth right there, okay? So in order for you to do that, it all starts with the first step. The first step, what's the first step going to be? The first step is going to be to, yes, Jono, this is live. This is live. We are live. We are live. Jono Davies, we are live. So the first step that you have to do is you have to realize there's some component that's missing, right? Some component is missing that's creating the problem in the first place, right? And in most cases, it's just the knowledge. It's the knowledge. So you first, step one, you got to invest in getting the knowledge, right? But here's the interesting thing. There was a long time, in over the 30 years or something of personal development books and stuff and reading on stuff that people always used to say, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, right? But the truth is, guys, it's not true. It's not true. I'm going to be straight up. If it was true, every person on the planet would be a millionaire, because there's libraries where you can go to where there's all the knowledge is there. It's all there. And with Google, YouTube, all the knowledge that you need is all there. Okay. It's applied knowledge that's going to get you to your dream. Okay. So in other words, you can keep on buying courses. You can keep on buying training. You can be a career student. Like there's some people that get caught up in they're studying and testing and studying and testing and studying and testing. And what happens is that they get their degree, right? But now they're going to go for their master's degree. And then what are they going to do? Double masters, right? So they're almost like a professional student. So they never move out of the learning phase. And they could be Einstein, guys. True story. They could be Einstein, literally, with the amount of knowledge that they have in here, okay? But they never actually apply the knowledge. So you may tune into these Facebook Lives as an example and say, well, yeah, you know what? I heard Darren talk about that or that thing, or he was talking that. Oh, I had an aha moment, but then what? Then what? What are the actual applications that you implement that's going to bridge you over to get some data? Because our industry, guys, is a data-driven business, okay? Data. So when I'm talking about data, what I'm talking about is that, like as an example, like if somebody says, Darren, I can't figure out why I'm not making any money off of my Facebook wall, and I go to their Facebook wall and there's nobody there. There's no audience. Oh, all I got to do is look at the data. Post, 24 hours, nothing. You got no audience. The data says you got no audience, but people don't pay any attention to the data. So they're just posting and posting and posting and posting and posting and posting and posting, right? I've seen people at, that have said, oh, I can't make any money. And I've go to their wall and there's like 12 posts in a day. Every one of the posts is a pitch, right? There's no value there at all. And there's no audience there at all. There's nobody there, right? So keep this in mind, guys. Your wealth will be determined. Your wealth will be determined by how fast and efficient that you can get at solving problems, okay? And it starts off with your own problems, okay? Solve those first, okay? In other words, don't try to help other people solve their problems if you haven't even solved your own problems. So what do you want to do? So how are you going to try to teach or train other people in the event that you haven't even saved yourself, right? So learn the skills, learn the skills in content, learn the skills in storytelling, learn the skills in lead generation, learn the skills in closing and upselling, learn the skills in team duplication. And once you're using them and applying them and you've got data now with some results, awesome. Now you can actually properly be a professional in this particular business model, because it's not a pitch business model, guys. And this is the reason why the failure rate is so high. This is the reason. It's a teaching and training business model, right? It's a complete different polarity once you understand how this works and why this works, and the psychology behind how it works and why it works, right? So if you tuned in yesterday, I was talking about how I'm going to be taking a group of people under my wing and actually have them look over my shoulder to explain all of this step by step in the 10K Side Hustle Showdown. Now, this is what my goal is between now and Christmas, is to be able to help you generate an extra $10,000 on the internet. And you could be marketing anything, guys. I want to just be clear with this. It's about the strategy on how it works and why it works. So you could be in any company. You might be an anti-aging company, weight loss, skincare, nutraceuticals, energy drinks, credit repair. It could be digital products. It doesn't matter what exactly. You could be a mentor, coach, a realtor, mortgage broker, insurance agent. We actually taught this formula to a realtor that was buying those fridge magnets and pens and all stuff that most realtors do. I don't know why they do it. They might as well light a match to that money. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. But she just used free strategies on her Facebook wall. And in an 18-month period of time, she generated an extra $250,000 in real estate commissions. Okay, now we're not talking about just, online, whatever it is that you're selling. I'm talking about this can apply to anything that you're doing. You might be selling cars. You might be a mentor, a coach, a trainer. You might want to get yourself more business. This is going to break it down so that you can really understand what to do step by step. Now, my graphic designer is just wrapping up the community page, the shopping cart and whatnot. But I can tell you that this will totally change the game for you as a marketer. Okay, hands down, unequivocally, guys. And I'm not saying that from a standpoint of hype. I'm saying it from a standpoint of actual data, real life case studies of countless individuals that had no experience at all, brand new marketers, right? First timers, newbies, as they call them, that didn't know what to do, but they were coachable and they were ready to jump from being an employee to being the CEO of their business. Because that, my friends, is where the money is. When you take charge and you take responsibility as an entrepreneur. And that means becoming a CEO. Guys, thanks a lot for joining us on this broadcast today. I'm excited right now. I'm fired up. My name is Darren Little from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. If you got some value from this broadcast today, throw me a comment down there below. Share this out with your team so that they can get the value too, because our industry, just so you know, the core foundation, the post in the center, is transforming other people's lives. This is the reason why I tell people that we're really in the personal development industry, guys. That is the industry that we're in. And it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the people. The people. So once you can become good at solving your own problems, guess what happens next? Now you can help the other people solve their problems too, because you've stepped into the CEO position, and that's what CEOs do, guys. They become fast, they become efficient at solving people's problems. Guys, hopefully you enjoyed this broadcast. My name is Darren Little from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and you have an awesome day. Thanks so much.